Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen, MikeColleen.com. It's MikeKollin.com. Today we're going to talk about, this really is a video for women, but men, listen in. I think you can learn something here. So the question is, do you want to know how men receive emotional fulfillment, or how they get emotional fulfillment? Very important for a woman to understand. So in fact, it'll alleviate a lot of pain and why she's not getting emotional fulfillment, or at the very least, it'll give you an understanding that you never knew. Now, if you've been following my videos, I think you're starting to see that we're different. We're completely different. So the way men receive emotional fulfillment is the complete opposite that the way a woman receives emotional fulfillment. Now at the end, I've got in my notes, you're going to find out why this is important to understand, and you're going to understand why we're still missing, okay? So let me just get into that. So I'm going to keep this brief, very brief. I'm not going to go into the details. If you really want more details, buy the books, or research my videos however you want to do it, or take the course. So the way men receive emotional fulfillment is externally, versus females internally. Now here's what I mean, real brief. So for women, you connect mentally through communication, and then that's like a lockbox. Once it's filled up, it pops open, and then you connect with him on an emotional level, like who he truly is, right? The challenge is women receive emotional fulfillment through the internal right brain language. It's more descriptive, it's more in depth, it's more meaningful, etc., etc. So we're going to connect mentally first, number one, number two, emotionally, and then number three, physically slash sexually. The challenge is men don't do it that way. And this causes a major problem in relationships, causes divorce, actually, causes arguing and fighting. And he's like, what are you mad at? So what? I forgot to take the garbage out. I'll do it, I'll take it down right now. So it's not the garbage, it's she's not feeling content. She's not feeling emotionally fulfilled. Now, this is the number one core piece of what my course is about. If a guy learns how to do this, she's going to be happy, she's going to be content, she's going to feel close, she's going to feel like you care for her. And if you don't do this, which men don't, because we're not wired to do this, and here's why. The way a man receives emotional fulfillment is, so if a woman goes this way, guess which way guys go? This way. From the groin up, believe it or not. Okay? So here's what happens. And here's why. When men have sex, after they have an orgasm, there's a chemical called oxytocin that is released into his bloodstream. Now again, it's another opposite. Oxytocin for men acts as a relaxant. Okay? But for women, oxytocin is released into your bloodstream and gets up into your brain eventually through communication. And that's why women love to talk, because oxytocin for women acts as a stimulant. For men, it acts as a relaxant. Now here's what's going on. So for men, after he has an orgasm, that oxytocin is released into his bloodstream, and it relaxes every nerve, every muscle, every fiber, and he's just like, oh. The most important thing, this is the part for women to understand, when oxytocin goes up through the bloodstream and hits the artery in the lower brain, there's an artery, and what it does is it controls, it's like a valve. It gets wider or narrower, and it controls the blood flow up into the larger human brain. So if it's narrow, it's not feeding the larger left and especially the right emotional processor brain fuel, because blood has oxygen and glycogen, I think it's called glycogen, actually. It's broken down. So in the Krebs cycle, if you took the Krebs cycle in biology class in college, you'll know what I'm talking about. Every food gets broken all the way down to the lowest level. So those two, oxygen and glycogen, feed your muscles and they feed your brain. So the reason why it's narrow is because it shoves the blood down into your muscular system, so it can be for fight or flight, to be strong, to fight or to be strong to run fast, okay? So when you got the fuel down in your muscles, now you can fight or run faster, okay? Problem is that's not very romantic for a woman. So that just kind of gives you a little bit of a scientific understanding of what this artery is doing. Now here's the thing though. There is an override. There's actually a couple overrides. Once he has an orgasm, like I said, the chemical is released into his bloodstream and it relaxes him. And once it hits that artery, it opens that artery wide open and the blood flows up into his larger hemisphere, especially into his right emotional processor. And now he's feeling emotion. Now, he wouldn't call it emotional fulfillment. He would just feel, oh, I feel great. He might call it love. Might call I feel great. Now, here's the other thing about it. Now, remember, oxytocin for men, it acts as a relaxant. And that's why men fall asleep after sex, or that's why they don't want to talk. They just want to relax because they're like, oh, I feel great. Please don't disturb my relaxation. Now, the thing though, you'd think though, but wait, Mike, that's the perfect time to talk to a woman because you're both in the right brain. The problem is the minute he starts to talk, it is an automatic habit. There's another word for it, but he will automatically revert back into his logical brain if you get him talking, right? So that's how men receive emotional fulfillment is through sex. Believe it or not, but the way to a man's heart, the old-fashioned way says through food, through the stomach, it's a little bit lower. It's actually through sex. Now, here's the challenge. And then I'll give you the answer. Okay? There's a good thing to this for women. Now here is the problem or the challenge is, so he connects to the groin, to the heart. Now he's feeling great. So here is the biggest problem in relationships. So because he's receiving emotional fulfillment every single time he has sex with you, he thinks everything's fine because his body feels great. Now here's what I tell men. Now here's the challenge. She can't go from the groin up. There's a barrier. Her neurology is literally wired to go 1, 2, and then 3, and it's done through the hidden right brain language, which I teach in my course. She can't go up that way. It's not physically, neurologically possible for her. She can't receive. So here's what I tell them. You know that feeling you get after you have sex, when you have sex with your wife, and you're just like, oh, you feel love, you feel content, you just feel like everything in the world is great. She wants that same feeling too. She can't get it just through physical sex. There's a barrier there. She has to go through a process this way. So a lot of guys ask me, why do we have to do this? You know what? Why do women this? And I'm like, because she can't go the way you go. She has to go 1, 2, 3. It's not an option for her. Sure, she can have physical sex, but how many times have you heard a woman say, sex alone is meaningless? She needs you to learn how to open up to your right brain and speak the internal, mentally stimulating, and emotionally fulfilling language so she can feel that emotional fulfillment, because that's how she gets it. So 1 and then 2. Now here's the cool thing. We're both trying to get to the same place. She starts number 1 here, he starts number 1 down there in the groin, but we're both trying to reach the heart. We just do it from 2 different directions and we go in 2 different ways, okay? So here is the answer. I teach men how, as I just mentioned, how to open up to the right brain to speak the mentally stimulating and emotionally fulfilling language for romance, love, and clarity in everyday communication. That is what the course is about. So ladies, there is hope and there is an answer. Men literally don't know that they don't know what this is. And this is the reason why, this is the reason why when women file for divorce or they complain and let's go to counseling, let's go to therapy, we need to work, and you say this to men all the time, we need to work on communication. He's thinking, what are you talking about? I speak perfect English. I got straight A's in college and high school. Guys, that's not the type of, that's logical left brain processing. If anything, that's going to turn her off and that's going to leave her feeling empty emotionally. We don't want her to feel empty. We want her to feel emotionally fulfilled. That's the purpose of the course. Hey, this is Mike Colleen. If you want to find out more, get a hold of me, subscribe to this channel, go to my website, Mike Colleen, MikeKollin.com. come to my workshops. For women, it's a one-day training. It's about 4 to 5 hours, depending on the question and answer session. And for men, get the book Crack the Female Code. It is an eye-opening experience. It will change your perspective and understand why women are the way they are and what they need in a relationship. And for single guys, this course is absolutely for you too. It's not just for married men and women. So go to the courses, Crack the Female Code, hire me for one-on-one coaching to save your marriage if you're single, to be able to actually go out there and meet women and be able to choose someone that matches you really well. And for women, take my course, Why Men Just Don't Get It. Again, go to my website. You'll find everything on there. Go to Mike Kollin, MikeKollin.com. See you guys soon. Bye.